Well, buongiorno everybody. Thank you all for being here today, here in my Dorina's kitchen. Today is my son Leo's birthday. So we are going to make a birthday cake. We're gonna make a really nice lemon cake. It is so nice and refreshing. And today's a little gloomy. You know, January gets that way, so I wanna have something that's kind of fresh and uplifting and kind of almost summery. But in the meantime, really quickly, it's also National Irish Coffee Day. Now, we're not Irish, so I've got some Italian coffee here. And I have some Bailey's, but you know, Bailey's makes a special espresso cream. So we're gonna have Italian Irish coffee and to celebrate Irish Coffee Day. So, a little bit of this in my cafe. And we're going to enjoy this while we make our cake. So, check this out sometime though. Bailey's espresso cream. It is so good. It's really yummy. So, you know, I jokingly say that, you know, the Irish invited the Italians in and got it right, you know? So, there we go. So let's see how this is this morning, or this early afternoon almost. Yeah, that's a good way to bake. Yum. So for my Irish friends out there, happy Irish Coffee Day. But more importantly today, it's Leo's birthday. So we're gonna start this cake, and this is gonna be a great cake to come to the table with. All right, so it is actually a very simple cake, just a few little things that make it special. So we're gonna start with getting our butter and our sugar creamed up here real quick. Today I'm using butter. I make a lot of cakes with olive oil, and they're really good. But today we're actually going to use the butter, so we actually need, we need the mixer. So, you know, I like to chop it up. It makes it, this is kind of room temperature, so it's cutting through pretty quick. And as you all know, I change all my recipes. So these are actually my recipes, so I change them up. I lessen the sugar, I add something else just to make it all a little bit more me. So anyway, so I apologize ahead of time for a little bit of noise we're gonna make here. We're gonna get our butter going, and we're gonna get our sugar in here. Half a cup of butter, which is 1 stick if you're measuring it that way, or 113 grams. We got 1 cup of sugar. I forget how many grams that is. I'm slowly memorizing all these. Okay, and then we've got 2 cups of flour. So what I'm gonna do now, before I do anything else, is I'm gonna go ahead and mix my 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Make sure I get the right ones here. 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And we're gonna put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I did use unsalted butter. So make sure you put your 1/2 teaspoon of salt in there. My salt is pink. Once this, I'm gonna beat this up for a minute. I'm gonna put the eggs in, and then we're gonna alternate the dry and the wet until it's all put in. But part of the recipe is 1 cup of milk. And you know, you can use buttermilk or whatever, but I just add a little, I take milk and put a little splash of vinegar in it. That little curdle, I know it sounds whatever, but it thickens the milk, it makes it a little creamier, and it just adds a nice flavor to the cake. So, all right, here we go. Okay, beautiful, because it was room temp, it wasn't too soft, but it's nice and little pea-shaped. All right, and I've got 3 eggs, so I'm gonna go ahead and break them here in this little bowl. 1, 2, and look at, I did good today, no shells. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these, drop these in, 1 at a time. Okay, 1 and then 2. Okay, now I'm gonna put it on low, and I'm gonna slowly mix in my flour mix and my wonderful curdled milk. dry. Okay. Now, last but not least, we're going to put in a really important ingredient. So we're going to put in the zest of a lemon. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it straight in here. You can do it in another container if you want, you know, or you can just put it straight into the batter. You can make this same recipe with lemons, limes, oranges, any citrus that you want. Really good. And I've done it with all three of those. I've mixed them. So you want the zest of 1 or 2. If you have 2, cool. Well, at least 1 whole good sized lemon. This one's a pretty good sized one, not too teeny. Always get all the zest you can get. And you know, I do have, and that's my last lemon. I do have a lime. I'm gonna throw a little lime zest in here too. Just for a little extra. I want it to be nice and really citrusy today. You know, in Italy, this is a limone, and so is this. This is a limone verde. It's a green lemon. So your little Italian word tip for the day. Okay. Oh, it's so pretty. I love the little flecks of color, especially the green ends up popping out a little bit more than the yellow does. Now we're going to add a little bit of the fresh squeezed lemon juice. So I'm not using all this. I'm using about half of this, which is about putting in about a couple tablespoons worth of lemon juice, and then the last little bit, the last tablespoon or so, I'm going to save for the glaze that we're going to put on top. I'm going to put a little more in. It spreads a long way in the glaze. What the heck? A little bit heavier than that a little bit. We're going to mix this in, and then the cake batter's done. Always have your rubber spatula ready to scrape your sides, because you know all those good little pieces of lemons sometimes stick up high. You don't want to lose even one fleck. Okay. Oh, yummy. It's nice and lemony. Wait, I'm gonna wait a minute. That's not gonna be raw. It's not as great with the coffee. Okay, so what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna spray the sides of my pan. I'm gonna do this in my in this pan, my angel food cake pan, they call it. Pumping this is my Pampered Chef oil pumper. I like this because I can just spray the sides. It's not too greasy. Otherwise, I just put some oil on my hands and I rub the whole sides down. So make sure when you do this, if you use this kind of pan, make sure you get the stem in the middle, this piece here, because otherwise, that's the worst part. You don't want that sticking. All around. And I'm going to do something, I don't usually do this, but it is a birthday cake, so I can do something a little special. I'm going to take a little bit of granulated sugar and coat the pan. Just as a different kind of outer coating. Now you guys know me, I don't do a lot of sugar stuff, but you know, it's just for a little, make it a little bit more festive today. So, we're going to take this nice batter. It's got all these pretty flecks of green in here. It's so nice. Make sure you give it one good stir around the bottom. Make sure there's nothing, you know, no pieces, chunks of butter or dry flour at the bottom. And I'm going to pour this in. This is kind of a loose batter, but it makes a nice, really light and airy cake. This kind of pan is one of my favorite kind of pan to make a cake in because it's so easy to slice. You know, you can just cut slices and there's a hole in the middle, so you don't have to worry about anything else, you know. It's all nice. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and I'm feeling like I'm going to put this on a pan. I think I'm going to put this on a little pan, just so it's a light, loose batter. So I'm going to put it in like this, just in case. Now I've got that in my convection oven at 350 Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius. It's going to take about 30-35 minutes to cook. Again, you know, depends on your oven, so that's why I always say no matter what time you're given on a cake, if somebody says, oh, it's definitely 40 minutes, always go in there and check at 30-35. Always 5-7 minutes, 10 minutes, you know, until you've made it yourself a couple of times in your own oven so that you know how your thing works. Now, I'm going to have a little bit more of my Italian-Irish coffee. You know, it is kind of a nice way to start the day. Now, real Irish coffee, just so you know, from my old bartending years, is black coffee, Irish whiskey. Some people put in a little bit of sugar, and then heavy cream. It's actually officially the old original Irish coffee recipe that came from some pub in Ireland from the 1800s. Did not have whipped cream on top. It was cream. So there you have it. That's the original official recipe coming from where it was originated from. Okay, so we're gonna make a little glaze for the top of the cake. Yeah, a lot of times birthday cakes we decorate with frosting and all that kind of stuff, but we're all kind of trying to watch a little bit, and it's more important for my 28-year-old son to be celebrated regardless of whether it says in big fat letters, happy birthday, Leo. I may make a little bit extra frosting and do a little writing on top, but this cake is so nice and light, and with a light lemon glaze on top, it's just yummier than any, it's just so good. So, so we're gonna do a couple cups of, because it actually melts down very quickly, powdered sugar. So let's, and I'm not gonna do the whole, I'm gonna pour it over the top then and just let it kind of drip down the side. So it doesn't have to be a whole lot. Let's start with this. Oh, there we go. That was probably maybe 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. That was a 1/3 cup measure and I was kind of overdoing it. So probably a little bit more than that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start here with the lemon juice. So I have a little extra lemon juice. I may end up actually used it all, so I may not, I may need a little extra sugar, we'll see. Mix it all up. Now you don't want this to be thick like a regular frosting. You know, just to make it pretty, I'm gonna put a little bit of the lime zest in this because it just stands out more. So it'll look pretty on top of the cake. So we're gonna call this a lemon lime birthday cake. Okay. Also remember that anytime you're using zest, make sure you're using, oh wow, that is so citrusy, it's gonna be nice. Not sure if that's gonna quite be enough though, so I'm gonna go ahead and add one more scoop, and I'll have to add a little bit of milk, but it really won't take away from the flavor. Let's see here. It's gonna need a little teeny bit. So you only do like a little teaspoon at a time when you're adding liquid to powdered sugar because it very, very quickly absorbs all that. So you want it to be a little bit of thickness, but you want it to do this so that way when I pour it over the cake, it's just gonna, it's just thick enough that it'll stick to the top, but it's gonna thin enough that it's gonna drip down the sides. So now I've got this ready. Let's take a little taste. Now it's really tart, but it's also very sweet. The sugar obviously cuts the lemon and the lime. So anyway, so that's all ready for when the cake comes out of the oven. I will probably let it come to room temp. I won't let it cool all the way because when the cake is still a little bit warm, it kind of drizzles and melts down better. But I don't want it to be hot because then it's going to totally run off. So you just make your little, your little icing as much as you like. You want it to be about this. It's thick, but it's still thin. And then I'm just gonna drizzle it over the top and let it drip down the sides. And that'll be enough frosting, enough sugar for us, just enough to have that little taste. Has a little benefit of some lemon juice, so it's a little vitamin C in there with the sugar, and a yummy cake. Here we have our finished cake. I just flipped it out of the pan. It smells so lemony. And of course there was a little piece of crust stuck to the pan, so I got to taste it, and it's so yummy. So now all I'm gonna do is just put a little bit of this beautiful lemony glaze on top. I don't wanna do it too thick, and I have my little spatula just in case. I'm just gonna drizzle this over the top. And I'm just gonna kind of spread it around so that it drips over the sides a little. This is not a huge cake, it's just like what we want. We don't wanna overdo it all the time. So now it's just doing little drips down the side. There you go. Just give it that little push to make it have that cool drip look. I could probably use a little bit more. I didn't want to overdo it. There you go. And then you can have some in the middle so it drips down into the center there. And that's that. And here we have our finished cake. And I can't wait till later on when Leo gets home and we get to cut it, because I'm looking forward to this probably more than him. So we'll probably make some good Italian Irish coffee, have a nice slice of lemon cake, and call it a happy birthday. So anyway, this is great for any kind of cake, though. I have to tell you, for any time you need a cake, this is a great cake for every day. You know, you can make this without the frosting and have it be, you know, sliced for breakfast with your coffee. The icing obviously is for a special occasion. I don't usually frost my daily cakes, you know, so we can have a little something. But of course, when I make cakes in general, because I kind of like making them, you know, I'll keep a half or a quarter for us, and then I love to give it away. It's just my way of saying, hey, I see you, drop a piece off to my neighbor. You know, we can't really hang out right now or whatever, so, you know, that's it. Or somebody does come by or drops off a package, you know, you've got a little slice of something. I always save to-go containers, because then I can give things away and not worry about it, you know, so I just don't really use them to restore things in my own house, but I save them to give away goodies to other people, and it makes everybody happy. So that makes me happy. I love doing things for people. Try this lemon cake. It's easy, it's quick. You should have all the ingredients. The only random odd ingredients would be if you have some, make sure you have some lemon and zest, but the rest of the stuff is pretty typical. You know, cake recipes are funny because you can make so many different kinds of cakes and they're all almost the same, but they're not. There's always that, who's got an extra half a cup of flour or a smidge less sugar or a different flavoring, or who puts a little vinegar in their milk, or who doesn't use butter but uses oil. But they're all basically a cake, and there's so many different variations, and it's just fun to play with them and fun to try new ways. And you know, when you know different ways to do a cake, like for example, if you don't have butter, know that you can use olive oil or any other kind of oil in the cake. Or if you don't have oil, you can use butter. You know, you can use milk, or you can use water if you don't have the milk. Or if you have a little bit of cream, throw a splash of cream into the water. Or, you know, there's so many quick, easy fixes. You don't have to be married to a recipe all the time. But if you know lots of different recipes, you know ways that you can tweak any recipe. So today is my Leo's birthday. Let me tell you really quickly a little bit about Leo. Leo's turning 28, so it was January 25th of 1993. And it was like 11 o'clock at night. I was actually due on the 27th, and here it was the 25th, and it was 11 o'clock at night, and Pasquale is not a night person, and he's like, and he said something about, I'm so tired tonight, and I got up from the bed, and I went, you know, to take one last peek at the twins before I went to bed, and I'm walking down the hallway, and whoosh, I'm like, oh boy, guess what, honey, it's time to go. And that was the end of that. And he was just like, oh no. He was too tired. But we went to the hospital. It didn't happen until actually that was the night of the 24th, because he wasn't born then until the next day, the 25th. But that was a night to remember. We got to the hospital. They're like, here, go to sleep. You're going to have a lot of work to do tomorrow. I'm like, okay. But, you know, once your water breaks, they want you at the hospital. So anyway, but Leo has always been one that loves to do his own thing. And, you know, he's the one that joined the Marine Corps. Well, that wasn't his own thing, like Dad. You know, he likes to do fun things like wear Batman masks and run around the grocery store and jump out at people and do fun stuff as he was growing up. So he was always a character and loves to make people laugh. So, you know, that is one of Leo's best attributes. He's kind of like a fun-loving clown. Also very, very loyal. He was always the one that wanted to, you know, no matter what. I had 5 boys, but whenever we came home from anywhere and Angelina was always asleep in the car, you know, she always fell asleep, the little girl. And Leo was always the one that says, I got her, and he would unbuckle her out of her seat and he would carry her inside. That was from young age. I mean, he was, let me think, he was like 8 when she was born. So, you know, in those couple of years going, you know, after that, I mean, as soon as he could carry her, you know, he was always, even when she was then getting long and lanky, he's the one that would carry her in all the time, you know. Leo really truly is like a lion. He's very much a protector, very, very loyal protector. So I guess it goes well with his whole being and his whole persona. He's got a great new hobby right now. He's been roasting coffee, and that's been a lot of fun. So Santa brought him a coffee roaster for Christmas. So he's been having fun playing with the times and the temperatures and all that kind of stuff, and making coffee, you know, roasting coffee beans, and it has been really good. So he's worked on light roast, dark roast, medium roast, and, you know, eventually I'm going to get him to do like a nice espresso roast. So we shall see how that comes, and I can put it in my espresso machine and say, I am drinking espresso that my son roasted for me. So that'll be cool. So anyway, so that's that for now. Please enjoy this recipe of this beautiful lemon cake. Please try it out. And if you make it, please post it under the video. Let me see your version of the cake. Someone made some of my cookies the other day and posted. I was like, ooh, they said actually texted it to me, and I was like, that is cool. Of course, my phone number's all over everything. But anyway, that really makes me happy when I see that someone has enjoyed something that I've brought to you. So please share anything that you make of the recipes I give you, or your variation. You know, I hope that I give you ideas. You know, recipes should be ideas, not just strict recipe. You know, I look at cookbooks for ideas. Cookbooks to me are novels, and they are idea books. And boy, I've got, you know, got a couple hundred cookbooks, you know that. Enjoy the lemon cake, torta di limone. It was an Italian recipe I got, of course, as you always know. Most of them are that I have. And have a great day. Ciao.